What are the trends you're seeing among Hispanic voters this year?
Yeah, so we saw a trend among Hispanic voters from 2016 to 2020 where they became less Democratic. Look at the trend that we're seeing right now in the polling, right? So if you look back at Hispanic voters at this point in the 2020 cycle, Joe Biden had a 25-point lead. Look at where that lead is today. It's just 7 points. Donald Trump right now at 44%, if that held, would be the best performance for a Republican candidate among Hispanic voters since George W. Bush back in 2004. And this is part of a larger trend line, Kate, that we're seeing among non-white voters. We see it among black voters as well. We've discussed that on this program before, whereby they're much more favorable to Donald Trump than they were 4 years ago. And of course, Donald Trump did better amongst both of those groups in 2020 versus how he did in 2016.
The tides are turning. The tides are turning, and it is glorious to see, people waking up from all walks of life. You know what's also great to see is, these Democrat politicians and Democrat talking heads absolutely panicking, like Ana Navarro. I've got to show you guys this clip because she recently went on to CNN and had some interesting things to say. But before we get into that, I do want to show you guys a couple of clips that she will reference, or they will reference, in the clip that I'm going to show you guys. So I want to show you guys those clips first, and then we'll get into Ana Navarro's comments. So like, share, comment, and hit that subscribe button if you are new. And let's dive in.
Down to $1.87 a gallon, and actually times when it was much lower than that. We had a record low poverty rate for black Americans and Hispanic Americans. We had the best poverty rate in terms of the positive number ever in our history for black Americans and Hispanic Americans. We lifted 6.6 million people out of poverty. Nothing like that has ever happened in our country. And the real middle class income rose over $6,000 a year. Think of that. Under Biden, it's a disaster. Real middle class income has fallen over $2,000 a year. That's a lot. That's a difference of $8,000. Real earnings for African Americans are down 5.6%. African Americans are getting slaughtered. Hispanic Americans are getting slaughtered. And these millions and millions of people that are coming into our country, the biggest impact and the biggest negative impact is against our black population and our Hispanic population, who are losing their jobs, losing their housing, losing everything they can lose. They're the ones that are affected most by what's happening. Not only the fact that you've lost the use of your schools, your parks, and your hospitals. Joe Biden's inflation. Do they have that? Down.
Now, that was a chant of "Build the Wall" in the Bronx, where it was confirmed that those people were actually from the Bronx. And it was confirmed that that was a very diverse crowd, right? So you had Hispanics, black people, Asians, white people, people of all colors, races, and different backgrounds, all chanting the same thing: build the wall. Now check out this clip as well.
And then we had the rigged election, and you know what happened after the rigged election? They took the wall, and instead of putting it up, they sold it for 5 cents on the dollar. And I said, these people really do want to have an open border. And that's what's happened to our country. Our country has gone to hell because of it. It's gone to hell. But I want to thank Mexico. Because I went to Mexico. We really have no choice. He said, send him back. There's a chance, send him back. Nobody.
So that same crowd that chanted "Build the Wall" also was chanting "Send them back." Now, let's get into the CNN clip with Ana Navarro and what she had to say about that entire situation. Check it out.
There are chances of send them back. All right, let's discuss now with CNN political commentators Ana Navarro and Kate Bedingfield. Anna, let me start with you. I mean, you and I have talked about this many times about his rhetoric, the rhetoric he uses to talk about migrants and so on. And I just have to ask you, Anna, I mean, when you look at the poll numbers and you see, if you break out the demographics, Trump is doing better among Latinos. He is doing better among African-American voters. And it certainly is a threat to the president's reelection campaign. Is there I mean, what do you make of this disconnect?
Well, a few things. One is, I think America has a little bit of amnesia when it comes to Donald Trump. And frankly, being in a courtroom for the last 20 days, I think has helped him because he's not been out in rallies saying the stupid stuff he says and the incendiary, outrageous things he says on a daily basis. We've been focusing on Michael Cohen. We've been focusing on Stormy Daniels. We haven't been focusing on the things that Donald Trump says.
These folks complain about everything, right? Now they're complaining that he's in court and he doesn't have a chance to be out rallying more. But when he's out rallying, they complain that he's not in court and facing, these bogus charges. So it's like, which one do you want? Do you want him in court or do you want him out of court? They're so confused. This is insane, man. I just wanted to point that out because, I just noticed that when I was listening to her speak, it's just like, so like, what exactly do you want? Let's continue.
Focusing on Michael Cohen. We've been focusing on Stormy Daniels. We haven't been focusing on the things that Donald Trump says. Another thing is, I think at this point in 2024, this is kind of baked in. People already know the guy's a misogynist. They already know he's a racist. They already know he says divisive things. And they seem not to take him literally or seriously. They think it's kind of part of a clown act, entertainment. And then
No, I think people don't take folks like you seriously, and you wish people did. Just because you get paid millions of dollars to go on a show and spew out your opinions doesn't mean that people have to follow, which is another reason why I don't understand why some of these folks are getting paid millions of bucks. I mean, hey, get your money. Like, hey, if these networks are gonna pay you like that, I mean, take the check, right? But like, I just don't get it because people aren't buying it anymore. And that's why I've always said in previous videos, I think it is great that a lot of this stuff has happened because they've overplayed their hand now, and now people aren't relying so much on mainstream media. And that's one of the reasons why I think there's a disconnect between, I believe there was a study or a survey that showed that there's a disconnect between black people under 50 versus over 50. Black people under 50 are a lot more likely to support Donald Trump versus people that are over 50. And I think that disconnect is a lot of people over 50 get their information in large part from mainstream media. People under that, right, know how to use these and work these. And that's not to say that, all people over 50 don't know how to work phones, but I'm just saying a large part, in my opinion, aren't, up to date on like the latest social media sites and things like that, or even really how to navigate them in the, the easiest fashion. But folks under that, especially folks like myself, like we grew up with social media. So social media is easy to us. It comes natural, right? It would feel weird not having social media. So I think that may be a little bit of a disconnect there as well. But y'all can let me know in the comment section how you feel about that.
Entertainment. And then the third thing, Jim, and this is the truth, and you and I know this, as Latinos, there are some Latino immigrants who forget they came here as immigrants and who want to shut the door behind them, and who think being anti-immigrant somehow is going to make them pass as more American, pass as whatever. And that's a very stupid attitude to have, because what folks don't realize.
No, those people that immigrated here legally. And that is the point. They came here legally. They went through the process. They took the steps. They took the time to come here legally. They didn't just waltz across the southern border or our northern border, which isn't getting enough coverage as well. Our northern border is getting crossed by illegals as we speak, I'm sure, right? But they came here legally, and now they're watching people come here illegally when they know all of the stuff that they had to go through to get here legally. And they see that as unfair, and rightfully so. It isn't fair, right? They had to go through the proper process, pay the, whatever fees that they had, fill out the documentation, wait whatever time period that they had to wait. They had to go through the proper process, while these folks just get to waltz in and they get everything for free. Get free housing, free food, right? Free medical care. The people who immigrated here legally, they don't get that stuff for free. So why would they just be clapping like a bunch of seals for people coming here illegally when they had to go through the proper process? Like, that doesn't even make sense.
Is that when the guy drives thousands of miles to go hunt down Latinos in a Walmart in Texas, he doesn't care when you came here. He doesn't care what your accent is. What he's looking for is, does it look like me? Does it sound like me? That's what he's looking for. So, when people are anti something, they're not asking for your papers. They're just anti that group.
Goodness gracious, man. I just, wow. That's like that had nothing to do with Donald Trump there at the end. She said that as if like that's America, right? That's America. People running around trying to, harm minorities constantly. Like, come on now, stop it with the nonsense. Are there ignorant folks? Yeah, absolutely. I think we can all acknowledge that. But just because there's a few ignorant people doesn't mean the majority are just as ignorant. As a matter of fact, I'm sure all of us, if we had the opportunity to stop any individual who was doing such a terrible thing, we'd all stop them. Right. So like that whole little thing that she tried to throw in there, that's a load of crap. That's bogus. That is bogus. Us on this side of the political aisle, we don't care about your race. Right. We don't care about that. That's why we don't talk about that a whole lot on this side of the political aisle. It's always Democrats who want to talk about race when it comes to everything. Oh, race this and race that and race this and black that and black this and Hispanic this, Hispanic that and blah, blah, blah. They're the ones that want to put a bunch of labels on folks. We don't care. We don't care. And as Joe Biden would say, the proof is in the eating. Anyway, I just wanted to show y'all that clip. Y'all let me know what you thought about it in the comment section below. Like, share, comment, hit that subscribe button before you go. Peace and love. I'm out.